Good morning, everyone. My name is Hong, and I am the e-learning advisor in the e-learning team at Italy. Welcome everyone to the workshop. Let me share the screen. So in the workshop today, I will be presenting about our new polling tool called EchoPoll. So I'd like you to pay attention from the beginning so that I can show you all the steps that I am using in this tool. So when you are teaching, the first step that you use is to change to the presentation mode. So when you change the presentation mode, if you have the app downloaded to your device, then there's a message suggesting you to start the polling session. If you do not use that, simply cancel that. But I will be using that today, so I will sum up the setting, and then I will start the session as usual. And when I start the session, I will also have the control bar here so that I can see the status of my poll. But before I get into the poll, I will start teaching as usual. So first of all, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners and their custodianship of the lands on which we meet. We pay our respects to their ancestors and their descendants who continue cultural and spiritual connections to country. We recognize their valuable contributions to Australian and global society. In the workshop today, I will introduce you about the tool through a sample poll where I will invite you to participate as student. And during that presentation, I will introduce about different features of the tool. And after that, we will do the techie part. I would have you to sign in and download the app. If all of you have done this part before joining the workshop, then we can move on to the hands-on part where we will create some sample questions and practice how to run a poll sessions. And then I will show you how to look at the reports and analytics of your polling sessions. And if time permits, I would like everyone to join in the discussion about how we can implement the tool with pedagogical intention in our class. So for the sample poll today, I would like to use the student engagement team theme to engage you in the discussions of how we can engage students better using the technology in the classroom. So now I will change to the joining slide where you will see the join details, whether it's the QR code or you can join in your device using the link. But the name that I would like you to provide, please use your pseudonym because I want to try the team functions in poll as well. So here you go. You can either scan the QR code or you can type EchoPoll.au and then enter the code UQ EchoPoll. And a note about the code, you can set up the unique code for the session and select that code when you run the sessions. Otherwise, the system will understand that you want to select a random code and then it will generate some random number. And in my control bar here, I have users. So if I click on the users, I can see the list of the name of the participant here. Thank you for joining and provide your name, whether it's the pseudonym or your real name. And today I want to try the Teams functionality. So I will click on Start Teams and look at the number. We have 14 participants, so I will create 5 teams here. And you will be randomly assigned in a team with the random animal names. And at this point, you can tell your student that if you see the message waiting for presenter, that means they are in. And you just need to wait for everyone to join in and then click on the screen to start with the first question. So as the theme today is student engagement, I'd like to start with the student profile. Think of an undergraduate course at UQ who do you expect to teach in an undergraduate course at UQ? So this one is a hotspot where I enter a pictures, and you as the participant can select the answers here. And you can zoom in or zoom out the pictures, and you can change the question when my poll is still open in here. And for myself, I can see that I have 7 responses. So I think I will wait a bit more so that I have more responses. Yeah. And the options that I select for this question is live. So you can see that people are answering and the changes are reflected on the screen. And the status is still open. So now if I click on the screen, the status will change to close. And it also indicates the answers because I selected to indicate the correct answers here. And if you look at the learning analytics tool available at UQ Course Insight, you will see that the majority of students in the undergrad course at UQ are a student from Generation Z, where they was born in the 1997 to 2012. Let's move on to the next question. This one is a word cloud question. How would you describe Gen Z people? Yeah.
If someone lost the link and they're lost, can they navigate back to where they were?
Yeah, let me see. I've lost the link, so I can't answer the question. Yes, this can be a situation in your class as well. So give me 30 more seconds. I will help you with that. Yep. So young, competent, worldly, mobile users. Yep. Impatient, tech savvy, self-indulgent. Yeah. Can you Thank you. Okay, yeah. So the status of the question is open. So I would need to click to the screen to close the question first. Yeah, and then I can click on the button new here. So the situation might be you have a student with some issues that they cannot join the chat. You can click on new and select join slide. So the latecomer or anyone who haven't joined the poll can quickly scan the QR code and join the poll. So let's see if we can handle those issues. Margaret, that is EchoPoll, and this one is a different tool. This one is EchoPoll. The EchoPoll is the tool that we develop ourselves, but it's not. It doesn't have as many features as EchoPoll. So, the channel none here is. Yeah, the channel none here is the clicker. It is not available at UQ. So if you create the join slide, you have the option to disable that channel none. But this one is on the fly. I add the joining slide, so it's still available on my screen. Okay, so let's move on to the next question that I have here. So I click on the slide and it will move on to the next question. And this one is a multiple choice question. What do Gen Z people grow up with? And sometimes the participant cannot move to the next question. You need to remind them to refresh the screen. Yeah, all of the answers point at all of this above. So this generation have everything in their life. I remember I grew up with the black and white television, and then we have color TV. By university time, I have computer, and by employment time, I get access to the internet, and after that, the mobile phone. Yep. So if I indicate the correct answers, when I click to the questions, it also shows the correct answers on the screen as well. Yeah, so when the question is still open, you can change the answers. Yes, yeah, I can hide the responses because in the real situation in the classroom, you do not want the student to be influenced by each other answers. And if we look at the student profile now, yes, everyone in the classroom, include ourselves included, we connect to the World Wide Web using our mobile phone. We have Wi-Fi and on-demand entertainment, social media, and connectivity communications as the main features of young people nowadays. But another important points in the student profile that I like to highlight is that students might not identify themselves as student in their first role, but they have different needs, priority, commitment in their life before identify themselves as student. Very different in the previous generations. For example, in my generations, my parents would not want me to have a part-time job. They only want me to focus on study, but things have changed. So the student nowadays need more flexibility in their study. And the traditional way of teaching and delivery might not be suitable with student changes in their needs and also student profile. So before discuss more about the traditional way of teaching, I have a multiple choice question where I have only two options. Which phrase describes the traditional style of teaching? I really like the two phrases that they have here with the rhymes. Yep, everyone choose the right one, sage on the stage. So the idea of traditional teaching was originated in the 14th century university lecture. So lecture means to read. In those times, the material was scarce. So the lecturer physically possessed the knowledge. And in the class, the lecturer would read out the knowledge for the student. They impart the knowledge to the student and they assume the central role in the classroom. However, as you can see in the photo here, the student, not all student was interested in passively listening to the lecture in the classroom. And the change library shows that in the past where the material was so scarce, it has to be locked up in the library. But with the change in society where students can have knowledge at their hand with the mobile phone and computer, research have shown students growing unwillingness to study in the traditional classroom. And in a empirical, in a research, the empirical data shows that in the lecture only, students do not want to ask questions because they do not want spotlight on themselves, or they are nervous, they are anxious in the lecture style classroom. And the fact that the teacher would call on them randomly would increase their anxiety in the classroom. And of course, it's not fun to study in a 3-hour lectures only. So the next question is a numeric question, and the purpose is to try out a numeric question. So how long is your lecture or tutorial? It doesn't mean to judge, but to have a moment of reflection. And the ranking here is to show how quick the answers is entered as a response. And the number on the top of the chart show how many people provide the answers. Yeah. So this is I only created this question. I know that the design is not perfect. I provide the correct answers for this question ranging from 1 to 3. And we have 10 correct responses. Yeah. So pardon me if that design is not really good. It doesn't mean that the correct response should be from 1 to 3. It just, yeah, this is the range that I expect the length of the lectures or tutorial in the university. Yeah. Yes, yeah, some people say it's 50 minutes. Yeah, I didn't specify very clearly whether it's the minutes or the hours. Yeah, thank you, Leah. And thanks, Luli. And in this question is the multiple select, where student can select more than one options. And in this list, I try to provide a long list to test out whether the participant can see all the list, yeah, on their mobile. And also, can you see that I have a clock with UQ color on that? So it increased a bit of tension and pressure when the student had to provide the correct answers. And when I feel that, yes, I have the number of responses that I want, I can override the clock by clicking on the screen, and then the clock will stop. And if I click another time on the screen, it will show the correct answers here. So this question, I think of that one myself, and I would think that if the student look like they listen attentively and take extensive notes or sit quietly in the class, it might not be the evidence to show that they are engaged. We do not know what is happening in their mind, but it might not be enough evidence if they only listen attentively or take notes. They might be chatting during the lesson. So come back to the research that I mentioned. So this research was carried out in a higher education context, and the mobile polling that they used in the research is Polling Everywhere and Kahoot. And the student use that technology to practice or have some learning activity in the class. And toward the end of the semester, they join in the focus group. And the students say that they feel less timid to ask questions. So I would expect that in this research, in the experiment, the teacher might provide them the short answer question to provide student opportunity to ask questions. And students do not feel embarrassed if they provide an incorrect answers. And they feel more comfortable and more fun. And students realize that in that way, the academics have break up their lectures and get the student engaged in the teaching content. So it helps maintain their focus. Yes, yeah, I would show that, Greg. Thanks. And it promotes the active discussion, because after some of the questions, even though it target very low level of cognitive engagement in the questions, it provides a point of discussion. Why you think this question is true, why it is false, and students can turn to each other and discuss more, and academics can provide more explanations after the polling question. And academics can provide pre and post quiz sending to the students, so it motivates them to continue learning the concept and answer it correctly. And practice until they have all the correct answers. Okay, so now yeah, we have a student, Greg, who wants to see the competition. Let's do it. So can you see that the status of my poll here is closed? That means I can check on add a new questions, or I can show the team ranking. Yeah, let's see. And you can see which team you are on. I am the parrots. The parrots, yeah, didn't do very well, but congratulations to Weibo. Yeah. And another team features is the team leaders. So one of you might be randomly selected as a leader of your team. Yep, so we have Tina, and we have, yeah, Jasmine. Yeah. And also I can click on the participant leaders. That is one of us in the participant who score highly. Yeah, so congratulations. Yeah, I do not see your name, Greg, or you use a pseudonym here in these competitions. Yeah. So in my new here, can you see that I can add a join slide? And then the other are the team functionality where I can show the class about the competitions. Yeah. And also, if I am suddenly thinking of a question that I want to ask you, I can click on custom and create a questions. It can be any question, multiple choice, multiple select, or true false. So for example, let me do a true false questions here. So how is my presentation? Maybe I change that a little bit. Is my presentation cool? Yeah, and then in search, I know it's very self-centered. And because I select true false, the options for the participant will be only true or false. So let's try that one. There you go. It's instantly opened up a new question. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Yes, it can be false as well. Yeah. But yeah, the point is to show that you can create a question on the fly as well. And if you want to create a new question here, make sure that you close the question first, and then you can add a new question. So I have a question here, and can you see recent? Recent means that all the questions that I have entered during my presentations. So for example, I have another question. Would you try out EchoPoll in your class this semester? So it's a true-false question. And if you want to try out and you are not very confident with the tool, please book a consultation with us. I will have you to practice the skill that you need to make sure that the session will be smooth when you actually run it. So yeah, thank you for that. And I try another recent question that I have selected. Have you downloaded the EchoPoll app? Because yeah, I need that one to plan for the next sessions in our training today. Yeah. Yep, no worries. Yeah, we can get to that in a few moments. So thank you very much for participating in the poll. So now let me introduce you about the features of the tool. So it is a live polling tool, and it has a variety of question type as you have seen today, and it has the team features. It is integrated to the LMS, our Blackboard, but currently what UQ have achieved is that we have the SSO for teachers, and we're nearly there for the student. So when you start your polling, make sure you select the public guest setting so that the student can join the polling without signing in. And also today, I make you to enter your name required because I want to do the team features. Otherwise, you can make the first name, last name, and email. What is that? Not required, hidden, so that they do not have to do anything. They only join the poll and answer the questions. But moving on, we will integrate the tool into our LMS so that if you want to assign the poll as a marked activities with a very low mark, such as the formative assessment, you can have that, and all the grade will be populated to grade center, but we haven't got to that step yet. And EchoPoll have synchronous and asynchronous uses. Synchronous is the features that I'm running today. And asynchronous, you can create it as an assignment and send student the link where they can complete that within a period of time. And the demo that I'm running today is through the app called EchoPoll Plus in the PowerPoint. And we also have the web environment. So the 4 uses of EchoPoll, the first one is the one that I am using, that is PowerPoint adds in. So if you are teaching using your laptop in the lecture theater, you can use the poll in the app. But we also discussing with the ITS to install the app in every lecture theatre at UQ, but we need to go through some of the communications to make sure everyone is aware that the app is in all the devices at UQ, so that when they enable their PowerPoint, there would be a message asking them whether they want to start the poll session or they simply cancel that. The floating toolbar is another use of EchoPoll. It's not from the app, but it's not from the PowerPoint. But when you enable the app, there are two options. One is the PowerPoint and the other is the floating toolbar. So floating toolbar is used when you do not teach using the PowerPoint, but you have a map or you have nothing. You just enable your screen in the classroom and you verbally ask students the questions. And then a student can scan the QR code and answer the questions on their phone. And on the web environment, I will show you the web environment a bit later on, but this one will be separate from the PowerPoint presentation. So you can teach using your PowerPoint, but then switch to the web environment to run the poll. And it has an AI-assisted tool where you have the input and the tool will generate the poll questions for you. And the last one I have mentioned, you can create an assignment and send student the link. And in our session today, we focus on the first options, the EchoPoll app. Okay, so for now, for those who haven't downloaded the app, let me show you how to add the app. But before that, do you have any questions so far? I see that Greg has the questions here.
Sorry, Hong, like not a question, that was just a comment really. But
Yeah.
seeing as how you've asked, I do have a question. So at the moment, you're using the floating or the PowerPoint poll?
Yeah, this one I'm using the PowerPoint poll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes, yeah, right. The button hidden behind the pop-up. Yes, yeah. Yeah. And then I will show you a channel where we can directly communicate with the vendor. If you have any feature request, you can sign in and yeah, thank you, Leah. Features request, the link that Leah sent in the chat, we can click on that, but I also have the guide for that one. And then we can type in any comment that we have and the vendors will look at that and plan that in the future's development. And if many people vote up that request, it will be even quicker in the development roadmap. Yeah, so that is the only question so far. I will now move on to the sign in part. Okay, so I will send you a link in the chat. So from this link, you can join. So if you click on this link, the iPad, no, Margaret, the EchoPoll support Mac and Windows, but not the iPad. So we need to use either your laptop, but not the iPad. Oh, okay, yeah. So if you run it, through the web environment, then you can run it through the iPad. Yeah, thank you, Leah. Yeah, so I have just sent you a link so that you can access the EchoPoll login page. So when you log in, first enter your UQ email address, then click on next. You will need to go through the UQ Authenticate. With the dual authentication as well. And when you come to this page, so because I have the administrator role, you have the instructor role underneath your name. Oh, that's good. Yes, yeah. It means that in the morning, maybe you have signed in the EQ system to do other tasks. And after that, click on open. And it will bring you to the EchoPoll dashboard. So in my dashboard here, I have a few decks that I have created so far. And session summary is the session's result or the learning analytics of my session, where I can click and download the results of my polling sessions. And the last one shows my assignment summary. So I can use the deck and create the sessions, or from the deck, I create the assignment summary. But just a note that this one is the web environment. But what we want now is to download the app, so you can see your initial on the top right here. When you click on your initial, you then go down to account settings. Oh, okay. So get through the web environment. So first, you need to click on the EchoPoll login page. And after that, you will click open, and it is the EchoPoll web environment. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Leah. I have just sent the link, and also the link that I sent you a little bit before as well. Yep, that's great, Tina. So I wait maybe 30 seconds until you got to my same page. And in here, you can see that we have the preferences, integration, and download. So the first step is to click on download. Okay, so from the dashboard, you will go click on your initial on the top right. It has your initial on the top right, and then click on account settings. Once you are in your account setting, we select downloads. And select download to PC. Or if you are using Mac, you select Macs. And when you save the app, we recommend that you save to the folder that you are not going to delete the app. So for myself, I will save that in document. I have already have my folder here. So for me, I will cancel that. But please download it to your dashboard. Sorry, download that to your document folder. And then in your document folder, you have the EchoPoll folder and also the application outside. You will need to click open the EchoPoll folder. And this is the app inside the folder that you need to enable to open that one up. But before you open that one up, my tip is to copy this one as path and then create a shortcut in your desktop. Then you can drag that one to your booking bar at the bottom of the screen here, so that it's easier for you if you want to run the floating toolbar. Yep. Thank you, Leah, for the answer. So for those who cannot download it, we have the guide here for sign in and download the app, where I recorded a video instructions on how to download. And here is the link you can download. And we also have step by step what you should do in order to download the app and install that in your computer. Yeah. Also, we recommend you to save the app into your desktop and then drag that one to your taskbar. So each time you need to use that, it will be very handy. So I'm just checking with all the participants. Are you good with downloading the app? Is there anyone who have the issues for downloading? Yeah, thanks, Paul, and thanks, Leah. Yeah, so once you have the app, you can enable it and then finish the sign up. It would ask you to enter your UQ email address again and go through the authentication again. Yep, so are we good to start creating a new PowerPoint presentation? Which app do I open the download with? Okay, so that one, you just need to click open the app and it is within the EchoPoll folder. So make sure that you select the EchoPoll folder. So when you download it, you can see that there's an application outside there and there's a folder. So open the folder and then open the EchoPoll app here. Yep, so now let's So back to my presentation earlier. If you look at the control bar here, it has the note end here. That means my polling session is still on. If I want to create a new session, I should make sure to end my current session here so that I can create a new one. So I will create a new one as the practice with all of you here today. So in order to use the, okay, logging into the floating toolbar version, the app version, please, James. So when I open my my app, here we have PowerPoint and Anywhere. So we will use the start now the PowerPoint, sorry, the PowerPoint. And let's open a blank presentation. And if you can see the EchoPoll add-in available on your toolbar here, that means EchoPoll have been synced to your PowerPoint. And it's important that you see sign out here. That means you have already signed in. Yep. Thank you. Okay, so in the PowerPoint here, make sure that you have already signed in, and you can see that by seeing sign out here. That means you are in. And before we create anything, make sure that we have the setting that we want. So in order to go to your web environment, you can click on profile. Can't see EchoPoll setting in my PowerPoint. So yeah, for this one, I would need Leah to help. Maybe I can stop sharing, and then Nina, would you like to share your screen, and then we can see your issues? Yeah, sometimes it's not synced yet, so we need to close and open again. But let's see, Leah, what do you think about this? So Nina is using Mac, and she hasn't seen the EchoPoll yet.
Yeah, sure. Nina, sorry, can you hear me okay?
That's all good, yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so for the Mac, the EchoPoll sits above the Mac environment. So you'll need to make, if you got it full screen at the moment, you'll need to make your PowerPoint not full screen. So that's the slideshow button. But you need to use, what color's the button? The green or the red one? You need to make it not full screen. So PowerPoint's not full screen. Maybe I'll start up PowerPoint myself. And Nina as well, if you could unmute your mic. Did you actually start up EchoPoll?
Yeah, no, I can see it now that I've shifted the screen down. So it
Yeah.
wasn't full size and it was sitting over it. So I've shifted the screen down. I can see it now.
Excellent. So the main difference between the Mac and the Windows environment is, like Huang showed you, for the Windows environment, the EchoPoll sits inside PowerPoint, and it's one of the menu items or one of the tabs there. In the Mac environment, the EchoPoll is totally separate and will sit to the top and actually to the right-hand side. So there's a little window that appears on the right-hand side when you're editing questions as well in the Mac environment. Okay, so just be aware and make sure you can find those windows when on the relevant pages.
Good on your Mac.
Yeah, I
Thank
use the
you.
Mac. The Mac one's better. I'm a Mac person. But the features are exactly the same. The only addition for Mac is there's a refresh button that you will not see on the Windows one that Huang will demo. And I can chat to you about what the refresh button does. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All the
Thank you
Windows
so
people
much.
don't need to know.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. So let me continue sharing screen. Yeah, okay, so before we entering any questions, yeah, I need you to do the setup. And for this one, I call the global setup. And in order to go to the web environment, you click on your profile. So next to the sign out, you have a profile button. Click on that. And it will bring you to the web environment. So let me bring that one in here. So this is the account setting page. And in this account setting page, please click on the preferences. And for the session settings and assignment settings, these are for the web environment. So we do not worry about that part yet. Let's focus on the part down here because it's directly related to the PowerPoint app. So the join mode here, I've selected guest public. I do not remember whether you have guest public as the default option, but the guest public we recommend because at least for the first few polls, you want the student to get in easily without having to sign in. And for myself, I've chosen hidden first name, last name, and email. So only for today, I changed my own PowerPoint to require you to enter your first name to run the team feature. And the reserve join codes is very interesting features. You can reserve up to 10 codes for yourself. So I can use, I can have UQ Echo on my course code, or my name. If I want student or participant to learn my name, I can enter that, and it is unique for you worldwide. So no one in the world can select the same join codes as you have selected. So that is the preferences that we should select in the global setting. Now, if you click back to your PowerPoint presentation, we also have the preferences, which is the setting for your PowerPoint. So let's select that, and we design on a few settings here as well. So display settings, there are two options: all slides or only the polling slides. We recommend to select polling slides only. That means that when students scan and join your polling sessions, they only see the slide with the polling question. They do not see all the slide. And it helps them to focus only on the question slide, and also it will not slow down your presentation. Because sometimes you click once and the slide doesn't move, you click another and then it moved to a few slides, because we thought that it doesn't receive the signal. So click on polling slide only. Display charts on the slide, meaning that how you want to show student the class responses. So for me, I do presentations. So most of the time I select live to show the result on the chart when participants are entering their responses. But in your teaching, you might want to select after, because you do not want students to be impacted by others' answers. And then display charts on participant device. That means when you close the question on the screen, student will be able to see the result on their mobile. So I selected when polling closes. Display chart values as you can use % or count. So count means that how many people enter or select the question, and percentage is the percentage of the participants in that polling question. Default chart label, it can be answer text or bullet. For example, in a multiple choice question, if the options are very long, then you should select bullet. But if the answers is short, you can select the answer text. But again, this is the setting for all PowerPoint. You also have the option for individual question as well. And the chart type, the default one is vertical, but you can choose other type that is fit for individual question. You can enable indicate correct answers or not. It depends on the nature of your question. And display show bar on all slides. So that is the control bar where you can have information about how many users, how many responses that you have. So have that option on. And show countdown timer. So I change my time into 45 seconds. And then I will leave show countdown timer or auto start unchecked. And if any question I want to show the timer setting, I would enable that in my individual questions. And then you can save the setting. Yep. And now we can start entering the slide. So let's enter the title of the slide. So then you can add a few slides as usual. Like in your lecture, you would have content slide and other slide before you start adding your EchoPoll. So when you wanted to start the EchoPoll, go back to the EchoPoll, and then under Add New here, you have different options. And the first slide you should add is the join slide. Checking if we have any question in the chat as well. Thank you. Yeah. And you can see that we always have the question options here for you to decide on the setting of individual question. So we do not have clicker channels. So I unclick that, uncheck that, and then it will be gone. And currently it's just a generic slide. It doesn't have any join code yet. Then after that, we can add a multiple choice questions. And also the color of the chart here, because I didn't use any template. If I use the UQ template as my presentation today, then the color palette will be more on the UQ palette color. So for example, what is the day today? And if you have the questions on your Word, you can copy paste as usual. And then you can use your slide features to edit, to format the slide. Make it smaller here. I can make the chart smaller if I need it. This one, remember, we need to navigate between the EchoPoll here and then go back to the home as you design your PowerPoint. Yeah. And if you're using a current PowerPoint that you have already had, then you only need to navigate to the slide where you want to add the questions, and then add the join slide, and then add the questions. So I can simply copy and paste the options here, or I will type in Monday, Tuesday, Friday. Yeah. And then I can indicate the correct answers. Wednesday, yeah. If it doesn't matter whether student have selected any answers, then you do not have to indicate correct answers. And in case you want the anonymous options, you can select the anonymous as well. The panel on the right, the question options. So click back on the EchoPoll, and then there's options next to the add new here. When I design the questions, I always try to look through the questions options as well. In case I need to change anytime, for example, the answers here is short, then I change that to answer so student can see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday as the answer in the chat. And for myself, I show the result during polling, but if I want to change it for this line, I can change to after polling. Edit a question once the polling begin. So in that case, you need to close it, edit it, and then reopen. Yeah. Yeah, so feel free to try different question type there. So for me, I will try a hotspot question. So once you select the hotspot question, you would need to upload an image. And then you can select add the hotspot here. And you can add multiple hotspot. Now feel free to try different questions type, and always have the question option open there so that you can quickly look through and see. Yep, okay. Yep, thanks, Leah. So is there anyone who is trying a question and have a question? I assume that you are working hard and then creating exciting polling question for your class. Yes, yeah, we can, Luli. Yep. Hang on, that one would be called the multiple select, Luli. If you select multiple select, then you provide 5, 6, 7 options, and then the student would select more than one. So that is the multiple select. Multiple choice, yes, you can have 5, 6 options and students select one answer in that. Yeah, thanks, Tina. So somebody said that result slide doesn't show the results. Results line. Okay. Did you select at the results line? So if you select yeah, I suggest that you do not select at the response line because it a bit complicated when you run the poll. But it means that you need to actually run the poll so that you have the results line added when you run the poll for the student. Yeah, Pam, you need to have the pictures ready in your device. And then when you select the hotspot, you will be able to upload that hotspot question. So for example, if I create a hotspot, again, it immediately asks me to upload a picture. So I upload these pictures and then I add the hotspot. So it has a color like this where the hotspot shows the correct answers. Yeah. And my question here is, point at the animal which is not living at UQ campus. Okay. It takes some time, Luli, to sync. So yeah, I understand your question. When I add E, F, G, it takes some time to save that in the question option. Yeah. So maybe you.
Sorry, it's just Leah here.
Yeah.
When you're on a Mac, as I just put in the chat, when you're on a Mac and you're adding option E or F, that's when you need to use the refresh button that's only available on the Mac one. So Windows users in your screen home doesn't show a refresh button, but Mac users have a refresh button. Yep, and I can see it's worked. So yes, so the easy way to add option E is to simply hit enter after option D. But what happens is over on the right-hand side in the question options, option E doesn't appear there until you hit refresh. But on the Mac, it happens on the Windows, it happens automatically. Yeah. So we're all sorted. Thank you.
Yeah, all good. Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to add a multiple select here and choose. Yeah, but feel free to try different type of questions here. And once you feel ready, we can practice running the poll. So I'm creating a multiple select here and I have D option only. I do not have refresh. So I go back to the previous line and then I go to my multiple select and then I can see all the options there. But make sure that you have the instruction clearly for the student. So now, are you ready so that we can practice starting the session?
Yep.
Yep, that's great. So suppose that you go to the class and you want to start teaching the student. At that point, you can start the session, the polling session as well. So let me just check the questions in here. Indicate which one is the correct answer. Just have a tick box for it. Yeah. So for the multiple for the hotspot, so let me create another hotspot here on my screen. I select the hotspot and then I select the photo or the image, and you should click on the options so that you have the options available on your right hand side, and create add hotspot, and then you can move the hotspot to the correct answers. And then the indicate correct answers has been enabled as my option, but you can click on that if it is not enabled on your screen. Yeah, that's it. If the students select outside of the box, okay, so let me phrase that again. When you run the poll and you get your participant to click on any area in the image here, if you indicate the correct answers, then the box will show with a little bit different color to show that this is the correct area that you should have selected. And yep, tick the checkbox, indicate correct answer. Yeah, Jim, are you good with that? So I don't put a box on every option, only a box for the correct option. That's right. Yeah, only the box on the correct option. Yeah. So for example, if I change that one, I say please point at, yeah, more polite, please point at I don't remember the name of this parrot. So I say colorful parrot. This image. Okay, so let me go back here. So when you start your lectures, you simply change your lecture into slideshow mode, as I showed you at the beginning of the workshop today. And quickly check get user public, join code, random, or you can select the code that you want. So I try the course code. And then make sure first name, last name, email, hidden. Particularly for the very first poll, you want the student to join in easily and smoothly. Yeah, so for that one, if you don't want to a correct answers, so you do not need to enable indicate correct answers. Click indicate correct answers. That's right. Now let me come back to start the session. So you change your PowerPoint into the presentation mode, and then make sure you look through the setting here, and then select start, and you close this message. And the control bar here, it can be on a different screen. So you can drag it to here. Otherwise, you can hide it to another screen. Okay, the purpose of selecting a course, so in the long run, when we have fully integrated our Blackboard courses, you can select your course, which will enroll all of your students into the polling session. But currently, for the information that we get from the technical teams, we haven't got to that step yet. So our purpose of using the poll is to engage the student in our lectures. Yeah. And then you will continue teaching the sessions. And when it comes to the join slide, this is the slide where the student can start scanning the QR code, or they can use EchoPoll.au and then enter the code to join the poll. So just be mindful that if you want to share the slide with the student, maybe you can have two versions. One version to share in the Blackboard can be the version without the polling question. And the one that you run in the class, you have the polling question and the join slide. Or you can have everything for the student in share with the student, but hide the join slide from them so that they do not scan the QR code before they get to the class, because they can't go anywhere with that code. running asynchronous poll, that will be in the web environment. So within that guide, if you can check out the web environment. Yes. And just remember the skill. If you click on the users, you will be able to see the users in your poll. And then you have the option to re-poll as well. And also, if you want to add join slide or participant leader, it is in the new. And then if you click on the screen, then the first question will be displayed on the chat, on the slide, the screen. And every click that you have on the screen here, it will impact the status of the polling questions. So make sure that you do not over-clicking so that the slide will be moved and student didn't have the chance to answer the questions.
Wrong.
Yep.
Leah here.
Yep.
I was just going to ask you a question because I know you've got people practicing with their PowerPoint. Did you plan to show them the preview session? Because that will actually give everyone simulated participants so they can actually test their questions to see what it's going to look like when they're actually running it.
Yes, yeah. Thank you for that reminder. That's one is a very good. That's a very good one. And also in your PowerPoint here, look whether you are running the poll or not. So for myself, because I have already started that, so now I need to end that session. And then if I want to try out my polling question here, I can look at the preview, which is, I think, in Start. If you click on Start, you have two options here, launch the session or only preview the sessions. If you click on the preview sessions here, we have some simulated participant. And then if you click Start, and remember to change your presentation into the presentation mode, and you will see that this is only simulated, but you can see how many people are answering your questions in the chat, and you do not see the answers here. That means you selected the option, do not show the responses live. Another click, you will see the answers in here. And then let's see if you indicate the correct answers. No, you didn't.
And Tina, sorry, that's start session, but you've got the option to preview or actually launch your session for real. So the default page is to launch your session because we assume you want to poll with your students straight away, but there is another little tab on that button if Hong just clicks on it. That's got the preview session, and then you can specify how many pretend people you want to participate. It defaults to 30, but it's a really good way of testing how your questions are actually going to work in your session. It's a great little run through. Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. And you can actually do that on the web environment as well. So that's not limited to the PowerPoint. You have your proper simulation capabilities on both ways of using EchoPoll for live delivery.
Yeah. And so thank you, Leah, for that. And one more features that we have here is the chat. Oh, sorry, I clicked on the wrong button. I clicked on Escape. One more features very cool here is chat. So if the participant click on chat on the device, they can actually send chat or comment or question in that area. And as the instructor, you can click on the chat and the chat will be opening on another screen or on your current screen here so that you can read the chat as well. So this is the simulated chat, not the real chat, but that function you can show the student that they can chat or ask question in that area as well if they do not want to send a question or raise their question in the class.
Does it give you some indication that there's something in the chat?
Yes, yeah, you won't be able to see that one, but because it's very small, you need to show the student that, look at your device, you can see that chat. If you have any question, you can enter your question. And if you select hidden their name. So everyone will be guessed. You do not see who is the author of any question. So I am still on my PowerPoint and then it's still on the simulation. So if I click through the question, I can see how it performed in the class. Yeah. So when I think that, okay, I have enough of that simulations, then I can end the sessions here. And another test that you should do before the class is that you start the session, and this one you do launch the session by yourself. And then you can click start and use your mobile phone to see if you can enter the questions and then practice clicking through the slide and see how the result shown on the screen and how you navigate in your mobile phone as the participant as well. So at this point, I'd like to ask if you have any other questions when you try to run through, or if anyone want to show your poll for testing, we can test that together. I can stop sharing, and if you would like, yeah, please feel free. Reset the slide to remove the situation, the simulations. Yeah, you would need to escape and then click on end on your PowerPoint.
So just further to that, when you're testing your PowerPoint with the simulation, the answers may stay there, Tina, but when you actually start a session, it will fully reset. So every time you actually start a session, it will wipe the slate clean with any previous, you know, little things from your simulation there. Okay.
Can you save the result from the poll when you finish? Yes. So let me show you how we can do that. Just a note for the word cloud question. So sometimes if you want to save your word cloud, you need to take the screenshot before it's wiped out. So for this one, I still have it in here. So I take the screenshot of that one. Maybe because I need that for the next lectures, or I want to answer student questions. I wanted to post it somewhere for the student, for example. So I need to take the screenshot for that, because if I start the new sessions, it will wipe out all the answers from here. That is one note. And the other note is that you want to show the result of the session. So one way to go to your online environment is to go to the profile here. And if you do not open your PowerPoint, you are on your desktop. And how you, let me open this one. I have saved my app here. I can enable my app. And then I click on my profile here. It also brings me to the web environment. And if you have already saved your login page, like myself here, I can also click on the login page, and then I can go to the dashboard by clicking on open here. Just a note that when you open the app and try to get to the app, it will bring you to, let me show you. So if I go to my profile here, it brings you to this page. This is your account setting, and you click on back in order to access to your dashboard. But if you click on the login page, then you select open, and both will bring you to the dashboard. So in the dashboard here, you have the sessions in the middle. And if I click on all of my sessions here, and I can see that today I have run a few sessions, and I can check the latest sessions here, for example. Maybe it's not the one, the previous one. Oh, okay, so this is the one that I run with all of you in the sample today. When I click on that, I can see all the participants and their answers here. And I can also download the results here. In case I have any short answer question, I can download and read the short answers in that CSV file. So this is how you can see the result here. And if I click on back, or I can simply click on my dashboard. This is the environment, the web environment, and you can create a poll deck and you can start the questions from here, or you can click on assign. If you click on assign, it gives you the option to select a date, a start time, a due date, and a due time. And then you can see the setting inside here, whether you want to see student to have a few attempts or just one attempt. You want them to provide their first name only or all of the details. And after that, you can assign, and then you can share the link with the student. So this is how you can create the assignment. So let me quickly create start time today, and the due date is in a week. And then I want students to provide their first name. Show solutions, show result, show score. So I do not want to see any result in the assignment. So I only show the score and then I assign. Fail to create new assignment. Leah, when I try to create one of the deck here as the assignment, it say that I failed to create a new assignment. Maybe let me start with another one.
Yeah, with assignments, you have to provide an open and an end time. Because it's self-paced, it's opened for a certain amount of time.
That's right, yeah.
And you should be okay. You should just be able to assign.
Yeah, let's see. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so now it's assigned, thank you.
It probably, there must have been some error in the information you just added.
Lovely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for this one, I can see all of my assignment here, and that one is ready, and I can copy link. And this is a link that I need to share with my student, maybe in the Blackboard course. And when students click on that link, it will open to the web environment and they click on start the assignment, but they need to wait until the opening time to access the online assignment. So I have mentioned the dashboard and also how you can see the result of the sessions. And if you want to create assignment, you need to create it on the web environment. So the first step is to go to create, and then you need to create a poll deck. So every time you create a poll deck, and then in each of the poll deck that you created, you have two options, whether you start from here as a web environment or you assign that as an assignment and then share the link with the student.
So just to clarify, because someone asked in chat, the poll deck in EchoPoll Web, as we can see here, is I guess the online version of what we just created in PowerPoint. So it normally has some content and it has polls added to it, and then it's saved as a poll deck in the web environment. That means that if you wanted to use that for a live polling session, it doesn't matter what computer you're on, because you'll literally be delivering and using the web environment, not relying on opening up a PowerPoint on a computer and making sure the app's there. So a poll deck can also have PowerPoint content uploaded into it as the content. So something to experiment with. But yeah, a poll deck is key to the web environment because you need your content first, and then you decide how to deliver it, either synchronously in a real class or asynchronously as a self-paced event for students to participate in. In both methods, the results are in the exact same area for you to access. Okay, so there's very little difference between both modes besides when you're actually delivering it. Yeah.
So for this one, I have just created a new poll deck, and then how you can add the question. You select add slide and select the question type that you wanted to add, and then you enter the options in here, and the options is in this button where you can anonymize the responses, or you want to score the questions. Similarly, you add more questions down here. And once you finish creating all the questions in here, you can go to preview and see how all the questions that you have created, how it looks when you run the poll for the student. And when you finish creating that poll deck, it will be added into your collections. Yeah, these are the collections that I have created in here. And if I want to start any poll, I can click on start, or I can assign that one as the assignment. Can you insert a 3D model into a poll deck? Similarly, how you can insert 3D model into PowerPoint. Let me think. So this one, I think we need to have a real 3D and then see if we can embed that. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, Leah.
To say, Tina, I'm not sure. I don't use 3D models, so I don't know. But is it interactive GIF or it? Yeah, it's hard for me to say. We probably have to experiment and see what sort of file type you can make it and whether we can support that or not. We support imagery and you can do all sorts of things in EchoPoll Web. Sorry, a bit vague. Let's just try it and see.
Yeah. So is there any other questions that you have when you create your poll or try to run your poll? Yep. So hopefully today we have a better understanding about the tool and how to create the polling question in your PowerPoint. Yeah, okay. So would you be able to comment on EchoPoll with point solutions? So Leah, would you like to answer that question?
Sorry, I only just saw that. So EchoPoll is the new version of point solutions. So Echo 360 also creates point solutions. EchoPoll is our SaaS offering that's based off point solutions. Not all the features from point solutions have made it into EchoPoll. However, EchoPoll has a significant roadmap. So anything that's particularly missing out of EchoPoll that you're using in point solutions, the old solution, please let us know or use that canny feedback. So we know it's a feature that you really want in EchoPoll, and we can prioritize that accordingly if it's not already prioritized. But essentially, we took point solutions and made the SaaS version, which is called EchoPoll.
Yeah, thank you, Leah. So I will quickly show how we can get to the. Let me see. Okay, how we can get to the feedback where we can send the feedback directly to the vendor. So if you are in your web environment, underneath your initials here, you can see feedback. If you click on that feedback, you will be able to post the request that you have here to the vendor. So as you can see that someone have requested the integration of EchoPoll with Teams, and other people can upvote your request if they feel that this is an essential features for their own use as well. And after that, you can see the status have been changed to defining and designing. For example, when the vendor look through the request and see the vote in the request, so that they can decide whether to fasten the process of designing the features. So in order to use this one, you would need to sign in, Kenny. For me, I simply use my Google account to sign in, and after that, I can send my request in here. And for this step, we also have the guide, so it's all in our guide page. Who do I contact for questions when I prepare for, yes, yeah. So let me grab you the booking link of our teams. So please book a session with us. Otherwise, you can send email to e-learning advisors at uq.edu.au. But I'm sending you your booking link. Currently, our booking page look very busy. But if you cannot find a session with us, please email. Let me type our email here, e-learning advisor. And when I see EchoPoll, I will grab your email and be in contact with you. And yeah, we encourage you to create the questions and then run through the questions with us or with your colleagues so that you can make sure how it runs in your classroom. So for the point solution, you can still using that point solution this year. And from our conversations with EchoPoll, they are working on the pathway to transfer the material created in point solution to EchoPoll. But currently it's not available yet, but you can still use that if you are still having the poll in the point solutions. Yep. So if you do not have more questions, thank you very much for attending the sessions today. And I hope you have learned some skill in using this tool. And thank you so much, Leah. Sorry, I didn't introduce you at the beginning. Leah is from Echo 360, and it's very great that you are here to help us today. So thank you so much for that. And thank you, everyone. Wish you the great start for the new semester. And thank you, Helen. Helen is one of my colleagues, so she's here today to provide additional help. Yeah, thanks everyone. I will send you the follow-up email with all the resources and the recording of these sessions. So yeah, thank you again. Bye everyone.
I have a question.
Sure, I haven't.
So this is a newly supported strategy at UQ.
Yep.
Laura mentioned that UQ has a license for it. I'm wondering what the expected lifetime of this is.
Oh, okay. This is an important question. Currently, UQ have Echo 360, and we have a corporate license for that. And EchoPoll is within the license of Echo 360. So I expect that it would be a long-term one.
Okay, thanks
Yeah,
for that.
because I can see that we are going to still using Echo 360, and EchoPoll is within that. So yeah. And
so
Helen,
we're
do you
using
have
Echo,
any?
yes, just saying that we are using Echo 360 for lecture recordings, and that's going to stay, which means we're going to extend the license, and then EchoPoll is within that license. So yeah, so it's the chances are very, very high that it's going to be like a continuous ongoing project.
But really appreciate your questions. Yeah, we experience changes and e-learning tools, new e-learning tools. So yeah, it's important.
And sometimes it feels like there's a passing parade of new innovations, and is it worth moving to this or that one?
Good question. Yeah, and
yes,
we were also part of that is the video. I don't know if you've been at any other sessions, or we've also mentioned newsletter. We're moving the like desktop recordings if you're doing like just a mini lecture or something. So we're also, or it's student video assignments. We're moving from Cultura to Echo as well, just to
Yeah, that's
streamline, the, you know, because we're too many products, too many. So we just sort of want to streamline
Yeah,
that.
it's a lot of
So-
mental load dealing with different platforms.
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.